What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to my FPL 2019 Game Week 1 review and Game Week 2 preview. And today we're going to be taking a look at last weekend's action following the opening game of the season, as well as having a look forward to Game Week 2 and how our team is shaping up. If you do enjoy this video, do drop a like on it. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has been showing their support on the channel recently with both the FPL and Football Manager content. We hit 80,000 subscribers yesterday, which was absolutely immense. If it's your first time here and you do enjoy this, do drop a sub. And let's have a look at how we scored in Game Week 1, shall we? So starting at the back, we went with Pope in goal, of course, and he got a nice little points total, really. 8 points, I feel like, for a £4.5 million goalkeeper is just never something you can complain about. He looked very, very good in a resilient Burnley who kept a clean sheet at home against Southampton. Perhaps a little bit unfortunate that Matt Ryan scored, I believe, 1 point higher and had a similar ownership in the same price range. But given the fact we had Heaton on the bench, we made the right call there. Going into the defence, of course, doubling up on Liverpool defenders didn't really work out. Teemu Pukki's goal in the second half for Norwich City meant that there were no clean sheet points on offer. So in the end, Joe Gomez, who did start, fortunately, did grab us 2 points. Alexander-Arnold did fortuitously get an assist as well to make sure he got 5 points. But all in all, a bit of a disappointing day at the back for Liverpool. The other two players in our defence for this opening game were Kyle Walker-Peters. Unfortunately, Spurs did concede through McGinn against Aston Villa on Sunday. And Zinchenko, well, he was the pick of the bunch, really, when it came to our defence. He got a clean sheet. He played the full game. I'm going to have to keep a little bit of an eye on him in terms of how much he's going to be starting games, but I do anticipate following a relatively solid showing against West Ham. He will be starting next game week, and you can see here he managed to get 6 points for the clean sheet away from home in London. Moving up into our midfield, and it was, two players that helped us out massively here. I guess, namely, our captain, Mo Salah. 24 points he scored with the captain's armband on. Made up almost a third of our points for the game week. Of course, playing on that Friday looked very, very strong. And, the other midfielder who scored well for us was De Bruyne, who got an assist in that win that Manchester City had. I guess the unfortunate thing here was that Raheem Sterling grabbed a hat-trick from midfield for Manchester City, and that was always going to be a bit of a worry for me. If Salah and Sterling scored well, we could slip down. Fortunately, our alternative premium player scored very highly further up the pitch. Rather unfortunately, the three kind of middle-of-the-road midfielders for us didn't do so well. Sigurdsson only got 3 points. Unfortunately, Everton were unable to break through Crystal Palace in a 0-0 draw. Ross Barkley had a game to forget as he was subbed off against Manchester United, whilst the score was only 1-0. But as a result, he only got 1 point to his name. Ayoze Perez grabbed 3 points. Unfortunately, he was playing in a Leicester side that drew blanks against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And, between them, 7 points just really not good enough. Massively helped out, I guess, by Salah, who without, it would have been a rather disastrous game week. And, it would have been a disastrous game week as well, I guess, without our striker, Harry Kane. Bit of an unusual pick, this one. Maybe a differential going into the year. He grabbed 13 points, 2 goals to his name. He also got all 3 bonus points in the Spurs game as he rescued a win for his Spurs side against Aston Villa, who looked surprisingly resilient. On the bench, all of our players played at least a little bit of play. Heaton unfortunately conceded a few against Spurs, so only got 2 points. Rico played in a left wing-back position for Bournemouth. Good to see the £4 million defensive option start. Mason Greenwood unfortunately only came on off the bench against Chelsea, and Wesley looked rather underwhelming for Aston Villa as he was subbed off without contributing too much in their defeat against Tottenham. All in all, though, looking at this total points scored, we picked up 74 points. The average this game week was 65, so a little bit disappointing there. Massively let down, I feel like, by the defence ultimately. It was a shame. Obviously, Everton and Manchester United defenders especially have quite high ownership. Players like Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, players who I didn't really ever consider in my team because I don't know how good at FPL assets they're going to be, scored highly due to the clean sheets. Obviously, going to have a close eye on all Manchester United assets. A lot of their players rocketing up in value due to all of them being transferred in the game week 2. And, with an early wildcard already planned, there are a few Manchester United players who I've certainly got my eye on. Anyway, for this game week, we're not going to panic. We're going to hold on to our transfer until next week. Ross Barkley definitely has a point to prove for us, and well, hopefully Chelsea are going to be able to get back on the straight and narrow. So as you can see here, we're going to be playing a 3-5-2. Heaton is going to go in goal. Unfortunately, Burnley playing away from home against Arsenal means that Heaton feels like the more obvious choice. Going to be an interesting little battle perhaps there. A lot of people having Bournemouth attackers. I will desperately hope that Heaton, the Aston Villa man, can do a favour for us there. At the back, we're going to go with Alexander-Arnold and Gomez. Defensively, a little bit in a pickle this game week due to, well, Rico playing away from home and Walker-Peters playing away from home. Unfortunately as well, Liverpool, of course, playing in the Super Cup against Chelsea in midweek, did go to extra time, which could play a little bit of a role here. However, I do still expect Alexander-Arnold and Gomez to start in this game. Alongside them, we've got Zinchenko, who is going to be playing for Manchester City against Tottenham. Really, I don't know if he's going to get a clean sheet here. I can't see him getting it. Hopefully, he gets the minutes. I might still change this a little bit and go with Rico at the back instead of Zinchenko. I think that's going to be a late call that I need to make one way or the other. Moving up into the midfield, it's going to be all 5 of our midfielders playing here. Southampton for Salah, he is going to be captained again, of course. De Bruyne playing at home against Tottenham. Still expect there to be plenty of goals in that game. Really, I'm looking at the likes of Sigurdsson, Barkley and Perez to all do well. For Sigurdsson, obviously at home against Watford, Everton going into a slightly easier run of games with now Watford, Aston Villa away, Wolves at home, Bournemouth away, and then Sheffield United at home. For Barkley, on the other hand, playing for Chelsea, hoping that he'll get a decent run out after the midweek fixtures. They are, of course, at home against Leicester. And their next couple of games, they've got newly promoted sides Norwich and Sheffield United. So I don't want to be reactionary too much just yet with our Chelsea midfield. Perez makes up the rest of our midfield. Always knew it was going to be tricky, the opening games for Leicester, particularly this game week 2. Really, I've got an eye ahead to their games against Sheffield United and Bournemouth as the games where I expect and hope he's going to score big for us. Up top, bit of a risk here, but we're going to go with Wesley for Aston Villa. They're playing at home against Bournemouth. I fancy him to grab a few. And alongside him, we've got Harry Kane. As I said, I kind of feel like there's goals to be had in the Manchester City v Tottenham game. Had a fantastic start to the season, Harry Kane. And hopefully, he's going to be able to continue that going into this game week 2. Anyway, you can see my bench: Pope, Greenwood, Rico and Walker-Peters. Of course, just as a reminder, this team is subject to change. I may well make late changes. You can follow me on Twitter at WorkTheSpace, where I will tweet out my final Game Week 2 squad selection. Do let me know what you made of this video format. Obviously, this is the first of our review and preview videos that I want to try and do every game week, although, as you can imagine, that might prove a little bit challenging. We'll have to see how we get on. If you do enjoy it, do drop a like on it. Thank you for watching again, guys. Let me know how you got on in Game Week 1. How are you looking going into Game Week 2? Any transfers you've made already? I would love to hear them in the comments. Just a reminder, you can still join my FPL League. It's not too late to do that. Hopefully I'll see you guys next time. And, well, good luck in Game Week 2. I'll see you guys next time.